So we're now in the non-hockey segment of the podcast where I ask you some non-hockey questions just to get to know you a little bit more off the ice. So my first question too is, what is your favorite thing about Boston?
My favorite thing about Boston, probably how close everything is. My teammates and I, we got electric scooters, so we'll go down to Newberry Street, walk around. There's a lot of stores, different restaurants. You literally can go in either direction. You'll be down BC or at Northeastern or at Harvard. It's really cool how close everything is to everything.
For those games against BC, like, do you just walk to the arena since it's in the same street, or do you still take a bus there?
We take a bus there, but one day when we were supposed to play them and it got canceled because we had some technical difficulties here at the facility where a pipe bursted, we were all joking around. We're like, we should just walk in our gear down to BC, but our coaches wouldn't let us, so we thought that was funny.
I'm surprised they didn't play that game at Aganis. I was telling Lacey about that. I'm like, why? What was like a reason for it, or it seemed kind of odd because she was saying that you were supposed to play Northeastern at Aganis this year and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember my teammates were like, yeah, like one of your first games back, like we're gonna play Northeastern at Aganis, and I was like, oh, sick. And then that never happened. I was like, okay, is this my teammates just trying to mess around with me and saying that we actually were playing at Aganis, but we weren't, but
Yeah.
no, we were supposed to. I think it was more of they didn't want to have the ice open way too late just because the guys were playing beforehand and it just kind of be at an awkward time. But I mean, that's what I think, but I honestly have no idea why they wouldn't let us play after the
Yeah.
guys.
Well, have you been to Aganis? Because it seems like a really. I'm surprised. I feel like you guys should get at least one game there. I know Walter Brown's cool because it's like an older rink, but like I'm more of an Aganis guy myself just because I like the new school and all that stuff.
Yeah, we've been in Aganis. We actually have had a couple of practices there. We have morning skills there. Our workout facility is in Aganis Arena. But I think it'd be awesome to play a game there. But we just haven't had the opportunity yet to play a game there. But I'm hopefully next season that we'll be able to.
Hopefully, yeah, that'll definitely be fun. So, and another question is, obviously the Midwest has the lakes, the East Coast has the beach. What do you prefer, the East Coast beaches or the Midwest lakes?
Midwest Lakes always will be a lake girl.
I'm a beach guy. I'm sorry, but that's because I'm from the East Coast. I've never been to the lakes in Minnesota, so I guess I can't really answer that question.
Yeah, I've been to Cape Cod once.
Cape Cod's awesome.
It,
Elite. I'm even wearing my shirt that I wore there for the summer because I went down there. Yeah, the baseball league.
Yeah, I just I'm way too nervous to get like pulled out into like this like mid sea or like have a shark come by. Like I heard Cape Cod's known for like shark attacks, so I think I'm just gonna stick with my lakes and be safe.
Yeah. Well, usually I'm not a water guy anyway on the beach, but like I think they have signs if there's like sharks in the water to not go in the water. But I don't know. I think the scenery of the beach is cool, like the whole thing. So, but I've also never been to the lakes in Minnesota, so I can't really answer that question. So the one thing I will say about lakes that seems better is when you like fall in the water, like it's probably much better just because it's not as salty. So that's like the one like positive thing from a lake that I can say.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that's probably like one of the only that, and I feel like I just like kind of like know what's like in the water, so like I'm not really like scared to go in it, and like I feel like something's gonna like come up from like behind me or from
Yeah.
like under me.
And for the question about the Boston, is my favorite thing about Boston is the sports. That's obviously kind of a biased answer for myself, but I think Boston's the best sports market in the U.S. I love the passion that the fans have here, and yeah, it's just a great sports place to be in. I'm very spoiled as a fan, not just professionally, but college as well. There's so many great players and teams that come around here, so that's definitely my favorite thing about the city.
That's awesome. What's your favorite thing like within Boston besides like the sports?
That's tough. Probably the history. I think that's something that people don't really talk about enough. Is there's like a lot of cool like historical things that have happened in the city that, like I was walking the other day and like there's the memorial for the Boston Massacre and I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. Like you don't really run around and like see that all the time. So that's definitely my opinion. Is just the history of the city is pretty interesting and unique. And then obviously I love the harbor. I think that's a cool spot. Just a lot of nice stuff there. So harbor, the history, all that kind of stuff. And then obviously the North End's fun as well, just because it has some good food there.
Yeah, I agree. If one fun fact is if you ask our coach any like historical thing about Boston, he'll know it. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that I'm not the biggest history guy, but I do find it interesting when you're in it and like see it. Like I find I like I think that's pretty cool. So, and obviously I think the Revolutionary War is one of the more interesting, I guess, things I learned in history. So it's kind of cool that we're kind of in a city that has all that stuff where it happened.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Now, we talked about last time on the pod who had like the best style on Edina women's hockey, but you obviously have the best style on BU women's hockey. But it's tough. There's a lot of great candidates, though, for sure. Like, I don't know if you've seen any of the college hockey's pregame outfits of the week, but a couple of BU women's hockey players are featured in that. But besides yourself, besides Lacey, besides all of the people that have come on the podcast, has the best style on the BU women's hockey team? It could be one of those people too. You never know.
I would definitely say Alex Allen. Her style, I really like. Her clothes are awesome. I think whenever like she can put on a nice outfit that's not like a lounge outfit, um, she really pops off on pulling that out, and she always looks really good going into game day. Always a different outfit. I know everyone like loves her outfits too, and she also matches her shoes to her outfit. And Lacey does the same thing. So I'd say probably one of those two, Alex or Lacey.
Yeah, did you have to dress up before games in high school, and was it kind of fun to do it this year if you didn't get that opportunity?
I didn't get to dress up. We had a team like outfit, so we had a Nike sweatshirt with Lulu joggers, and then we had our team like jacket. But I did like dressing up. One thing I wish though is we got to dress up for away games too. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Hmm.
But if it's a long bus ride like Maine, I am totally cool just wearing
Yeah,
joggers and a shirt. But I think I liked it a lot. It really brought like new aspect to the game, and I thought it was fun to do.
yeah, awesome. Like, was it kind of tough because for at least for guys, it's like a suit. Like, it's kind of easy to make a decision what you're going to wear before the game. But I feel like for you guys, it's a little bit more difficult because you have a lot more options to choose from.
It is a little difficult for me. If I don't choose the night before, I know I'm going to be in my room for a while, and I better start getting dressed like 3 hours beforehand, because I will like change from one outfit from another, and then I'll be like, yeah, this is the outfit, and then I'll be like, nope, and then I'll change again, and then I just kind of have to throw on something before I leave. But yeah, I do think it's a little harder, but it's also fun because we just kind of get to like mix and match and just see like what we like and what we don't like. And I don't know, I think everyone on our team kind of has like a little like part of like a fashion side to them, so it's cool to see like everyone's style and everything like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why the pregame outfits of the week thing came out. I think it's a great way to show off your personality. I don't know if you got to see any of those, but it's gonna be interesting to see who might win the best style of the season. That's coming up
I like
soon, by the way. So,
Steigoff, Nina Steigoff style
oh
with
yeah,
like the
she's
stuff.
very good. Like, she has the hats and everything, and she's I don't know how, and she makes it look so casual too. So it will definitely be interesting though. There's a lot of good candidates for the women's side. You guys, just gonna say the women's style is a lot better than the men's style because men's it's all boring. But there's one clear cut winner for the men's. That's for at least from in my opinion. So.
Who do you think it is?
Well, there's a few. One is some guy from UMass Lowell because they wore the old school scally cap with like it was like the 1920s suit look, and I thought that was really interesting and kind of unique because you never really see that. But I will say John Copeland from BU, I'll give him a shout out. He had a really good suit one day, so I thought he did a good job with his style and outfit. So, but the guys, it's a little more difficult because they kind of all wear the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like they really have to switch up the jacket or like the shirt underneath or like a tie or something like that to be different.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a little bit harder actually to choose for the guys for one different reason because they're all the same. For the girls, it's going to be hard just because there's so many great outfits to choose from. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be a fan vote. So it's not me that makes the decision. I think the nominees might come out this week. I'm not quite sure about that. Be interesting to see though. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm voting for Nina.
Yeah, no, I think she's definitely going to be one of the top people, but there's some other people from other schools that have said that they want to win that award. So it's going to be it's going to be one of the most contestants award in for the end of the season. So we'll see how it goes.
Sounds exciting.
Now, who's the funniest on the team?
Alex Allen. Her, Julia Shaughnessy, or I feel like Jessie DeVito, she's pretty funny. She's really funny. It's like some of the stuff she says is like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's just really, really funny. But I'd say Alex Allen for sure.
Which teammate would you want to cook a meal for you if you had to pick any teammate?
Probably Nadia or Grace, just because I think Nadia has really good, because Nadia's from Italy, so she has really good like Italian food ideas, and I think Grace is a really good cook, and they live together, so them together, like I think they would just pull off a really good meal to cook.
Thoughts on Ellie Larson's insane goal on senior night as a forward? I thought that was awesome, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it.
That was awesome. I was really happy for her. I think she probably had one of the hardest roles this year just because the coaches were constantly transitioning her from forward to D. And like she was playing with a lot of different players. So congrats to her for pulling that off. I know that's a really hard role to do. And I think I was just really happy for her in general, just getting everything she got. I think that goal was awesome. I remember being in the stands with Olivia and she scored and we just started screaming. We're like, yeah, Ellie. And then just everyone being happy for her in the locker room.
Is Callie Shanahan the best rookie goalie in college hockey?
She's my roommate, but I think she's a really good goalie. I'm very happy for her for all her accomplishments and everything like that. But yeah, I do agree that she's one of the really good goalies here out east.
Now, what is the most embarrassing hockey moment you've ever had? Has someone ever checked you before? Have you ever someone ever broken your ankles? Has something else happened? Like, what's like the most embarrassing moment you can think of?
Um, Either coming off the bench right away and falling, or me going into the zone realizing that I was a little too like far forward compared to my teammate because they made one extra move before like entering the blue line and having to do the splits on the ice and watching film over again and like my coach pointing it out. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. And at least you avoided those big checks, though. I feel like that's one thing about college hockey than from high school is I feel like it's a little more physical.
Yeah, it's a little more physical. I feel like they let us play a little bit more out here, and check a little bit. But honestly, I think that for like physicality wise, I think it's more aggressive out for college hockey than it was in high school.
What's the biggest check that you saw this year, whether you were involved with it or not? I'm just curious.
I forgot who it was in one of. Oh, I know exactly who it was. So Courtney Correa, number 5 on our hockey team. I remember she was coming up on the left wing side by the R boards. I don't remember if the other team was like next to us too, but our coach was opening the door and to get like someone off, or our goalie was, and the girl perfectly like came in, like checked Courtney like really bad, and Courtney's back got all twisted and like she hit in the inside the door a little bit.
Oh, that's
And it was really, really bad. I just remember her coming the next day to practice with some like plastic thing around her ribs because they were so bruised. But I felt really bad. But that was probably like one of the worst ones I've seen.
yeah, no, that you gotta be careful with those doors because you never know what can happen. So hopefully, should she recover from that one? Okay,
She did.
that's good.
She ended up wearing it for like a couple of days. Didn't really like it, but it was fine. She healed perfectly fine, and like there's nothing wrong with her. So we're really grateful for that.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear. Let's kind of get to some of the non hockey questions. First one is, what is your biggest fear?
Bugs. I cannot handle bugs. There was a bug in our common room, and I went to go study, and I woke up my roommate at 1 in the morning to go kill the bug for me because I would not go study in there.
Who's the roommate that has to kill all the bugs then?
My roommate Kylie Shanahan.
Yeah. I don't really care about bugs, to be honest with you. I think if it's not like a bee, because whenever bees sting me, I swell up. So that's why I don't like them. So that's the only thing I need to be careful of when they're in the room. But also, I also don't like flies because I think they're kind of gross. So those two bugs are the only ones that like freak me out. But my biggest fear is kind of weird. It's elevators. I hate taking elevators. I'd rather just take the stairs because I don't want to get stuck.
Fair enough. Or flying. I don't like flying.
I
Just
don't care
take
about flying because it's very rare to get in a plane crash. You're more likely to get in a car crash than a plane crash. So that doesn't really bother me too much.
That's what my coach was telling me. I was freaking out on the plane when we were coming back from Pittsburgh, and she goes, "Kylie, like the chances of you getting in a car crash are much more likely than you like getting in a plane crash." I'm like, "But there's still that like 1%." Like,
And if you
oh,
even if you do get in a plane crash, the likely chance of happening it twice is like so rare. So like at least once you deal with one, then you probably won't have to deal with another one ever again.
true.
but hopefully that never happens because that would be scary if a plane crash, if I ever had to deal with a plane crash. But yeah, I've never met anyone that's been in one, but if someone has, please let me know because those things seem pretty scary to deal with.
My teammates, we were actually talking about that after skills today, about like plane crashes and stuff, and talking about like how bad the turbulence was coming back from Pittsburgh. And I don't remember if Jessie said it was her mom, but the wheels coming down after like trying to land the flight, I forgot where they were coming back from. One of the wheels was broken and one of the wheels like came down but was off to the side. So then the pilot was like, okay, like we're gonna have a crash landing, we're gonna try to land on this foam mat, but the chances of the plane going in flames are high, so everyone just get ready. So she said that everyone was like on the ground, like ducking, like getting ready. It's for like the crash landing, but then the plane like landed perfectly on the foam stuff. So they didn't crash, it didn't catch on fire. It just sat there perfectly as if like the plane never touched down.
Yeah, no, that's definitely scary, but I feel like you have to. I'll at least have a plan, like if the pilot said that, of like how I'm getting out of there, because I think it's absolutely hilarious when they're like, you have to all single file go up. I'm like, nope, if that plane's coming down, I'm jumping out of the window or finding a way to get out as quick as possible. I don't care.
Grabbing a parachute.
Because we had a school shooting drill one time in high school where it was like in the cafeteria, if someone came in the cafeteria, like you have to all stand up single file, exit the door. I'm like, this would never work in real life. Like, so I came up with my whole plan of how I was going to get out there if that situation happens. So I always thought like some of these like plans that they do make no sense to me. I'm like, we have some common sense here. Like, no one's going to be like calm about this if that ever happened.
Oh yeah, or like when you have to hide in a corner and then they like try, that's like they're taping the windows with what's
Yeah.
it called? Like the little notebook paper. I'm like, okay, like that's just not gonna work or prevent someone from trying to break into a room.
Yeah, we learned fight, flight, or hide, and I'm like, I'm fighting and running away from the school. That's my thing. If they're in the other end of the building, like that's what I'm doing. I'm not hiding and being in the building where something like that's happening.
No, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm out of there.
So now next question is, what is something that you did as a kid that you still do today? For me, it's drinking chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk, big chocolate milk guy, and that's something I still do today. I would even order it at a restaurant. I don't care what people think about it.
um, that's a hard question. Um, well, when I take naps, I still like put a pillow like over my face, like when I sleep or when I study, or um just like hanging about. I always like have like an NHL game on, whether it's like a live game going on or a recap from like the other day. I don't know, I've always been like that, of having like NHL on whenever I can to learn from the game and stuff like that.
That's a good answer. Yeah, no, I definitely, I do that for college hockey and NHL. So I don't know if you do the same thing since you're now in college hockey.
Having both games on.
Like, yeah, like a replay of like a game that happened the other night.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. That's cool. Now, how can you tell if someone has a good sense of humor? For me, it's when you're talking to someone and the vibe's there. It might sound kind of weird, but like you can just tell. It's like a feeling. That's how I feel about it. Or if you can make a situation that's kind of awkward funny.
I would say the same thing. Like you could just kind of tell who's funny, and if they're just naturally funny, or if they're actually trying hard to be funny. But then the people who are just naturally funny, um, they never have an off day of them not being funny. Like no matter like what the mood is in the room or something like that, they always say something to like make everyone laugh and kind of like boost everyone's spirit.
I've never understood the people that try to be funny when they're not. It's the toughest thing to see. It happens all the time. And I'm like, someone's got to tell them, like, I don't know. I don't want to be that person, but like, that, like, it's tough. So don't just be natural. That's my advice to anyone listening. Now, what is the most interesting thing you've seen or read this week?
Oh, it was either yesterday. I don't. The days have kind of gone by just because it's been so busy with like exams. But the thing I read about Flurry going to the wild, I thought that was pretty cool and like interesting. And reading about that, I was not expecting that.
Are you excited? Are you still a Wild fan today?
Sadly, I've never been a Wild fan. I've always like gone to the games and stuff like that to support them, and just, I mean, I would go to any hockey game just to like learn from it and watch the game. But I I think I might start. I know my roommate Callie's really excited about it, so I know we're going to be watching a lot more Wild games versus the Red Wings. But yeah, so I'm going to probably have to watch a lot of the Wild now because Callie's really excited about that.
Plus, that's your hometown team, so you should. At least that's how I view it. Is like if you're choosing a team, usually most people choose their hometown team.
Um,
So
I really like New York Islanders, Las Vegas Golden Knights, or New Jersey. I grew up with my dad watching the New Jersey Devils because that's where he's from.
hmm
So that's always been my team. And my favorite player was Kovalchuk, and then he went to Russia. And I
yeah,
heard that he might come back. I don't know. He did some video to I
he went
think
back
it
to the Capitals a couple years ago.
really,
Yeah, before COVID, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. But I missed watching him play. I remember just looking up to him and like excited to watch the game with my dad and watching him play.
Fun fact about the Devils, my dad was at the game when they won the Stanley Cup back in 1994. So shout out to him for seeing that live. That was pretty cool. And I had a couple of kids whose dads were on that team, which I think is pretty interesting as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so definitely it's pretty interesting. Like I think a lot of like there's a few players in college hockey that their parents were on that 1994 Devils team. I'm trying to think. I know Jim Dowd, his son was on Penn State. Ryder Rolston, his dad played for that team. I'm pretty sure, so it's pretty cool to see. And obviously Hannah, I think as well. I think her dad was on that team.
Yeah,
So,
he
um,
was.
just so that's just a fun fact I want to put out there. So shout out to my dad for seeing that. That's a really cool moment. Now back to some non-hockey questions. If there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself?
Ooh, either Ariana Grande or what's I forgot her name, like how to pronounce it. The girl who plays Wonder Woman, like Gail
Yeah,
some.
Gal Gadot or whatever.
God, yeah, her. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, for me, I'll probably choose like I think like Killian Murphy or Tom Holland, just because I think they're cool people, and I would want to look cool when they play me in a movie. So that's who I would pick, or like Tom Cruise. Someone like I'm not really cool in real life. I'm a pretty boring person, but I would want someone to make me look cool in my everyday life. So that's why I would choose them.
Um, or Zendaya. I like Zendaya. I think she's a good actress.
Yeah, she was good in the Spider-Man movies. So yeah, so I that's a good choice. Next non-hockey question is, what is your guilty pleasure song?
Heat Waves. I really like that song. My roommate and I always are playing it. I don't know. It's just a good song, no matter like what day it is. I think it's a fun song to listen to.
For me, it's "Love Story" by Taylor Swift. That song always slaps. So, I will admit, I definitely like listening to that song. I won't never sing it publicly, but in private, I'll definitely enjoy that a lot. So, shout out to Taylor Swift. She makes a lot of good music.
I have a question. If you had a intro song to whenever you walked into a building, would it be Love Story?
Oh no,
Or
it definitely wouldn't be a love story. It'd probably be That's a tough question. You kind of put me on the spot there. I'll probably choose like Headlines by Drake or like some like rap song just because I need it to be intense. Like when I walk in a building, I want people to know that I'm there. So it'll probably be like a song like that.
for me, it would either be Stand Up and Shout or Come With Me Now.
I've actually never heard of those songs, but I've
Really?
never.
I just heard Come With Me Now like the other day. One of my friends showed me it, but Stand Up and Shout when I was younger, fun fact, when I played for Cottage Grove, I think it was U12s. Whenever we scored, we had our own like song, and it was stand up and shout, and then the lyrics was just like stand up and shout, and then the guy was like singing it extendedly, and then it just had like a whole bunch of like guitars and like drums and stuff. So that's why I did it, because I saw it from a movie my parents used to watch, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I would definitely like it would have to be an intense song for my goal song or like an intro song just because like I want to look cool like I said when I'm entering I want people to know that I'm there. So that's why I'll choose that one of those two songs.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, what is so here's another non-hockey question. What is your favorite holiday and what is like what's the most overrated holiday and what is the most underrated holiday since St. Patrick's Day was recently when we were recording this?
Underrated. Um,
Do you want me to start off and then you think about it?
yeah, can you?
Yeah, sure. So I would say for underrated, it's definitely 4th of July. I think it's a good summer holiday, good food. I love the fireworks. It's just always I've never had a bad 4th of July, so I'll definitely say that. And then overrated is definitely Halloween because if you're not a kid, if you don't like dressing up, it's really just another day. And I think people get way too excited. I'm like, you're an adult. You shouldn't be this excited for Halloween. I know I'm a bit of a Debbie Downer about that, but I never understood the Halloween hype. So that's definitely, I think, the most overrated one in my opinion.
Okay. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on the Halloween thing. I think it's fun because, I mean, at least for me and my friends growing up, we threw like little Halloween parties, or we would like watch a whole bunch of scary movies and like just getting together with like our close friends. I thought that was fun, even though we couldn't really like go out anymore,
Hmm.
like when we were younger. But I think the most overrated holiday in my opinion is Valentine's Day. I've never really liked that holiday. I don't know why. I just never really did. But I think the most underrated holiday, I'm gonna have to agree with you, is
Yeah.
4th of July.
Hmm.
4th of July are the best.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with you on Valentine's Day too. I don't understand. I think I don't mind when people do something for Valentine's Day. I think you should do something for the Valentine's Day, but there are people that go way over the top for Valentine's Day. It's like, all right, calm down. Like we don't need to know about your relationship. So
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Or just like seeing people like do certain stuff. I'm like, like I don't know how I feel about that, but if it works for you, good for you.
yeah, that's exactly how I feel. But there's people. It was mostly in high school. I feel like it's kind of toned down since I've been in college. But like they'll be in relationships for 2 months, then Valentine's will roll around. You would think they've been married for like 50 years, like the way they were like talking about them. It was crazy. So that's my opinion on Valentine's Day. It's a bit overrated, but you should probably, if you want to do something, do something. But I don't know, try not to do too much because you probably should be doing that every day. You shouldn't be overhyping one particular day. Instead of, you should be doing something every day, I think is my kind of whole take on it.
I agree. Or like you can do something nice like some other day. Like you can do that any day, or like decide to do that any day. So that's why I just kind of think it's overrated.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. Now, another underrated, overrated segment, prom. Is it overrated or underrated? I never got one, so you probably could.
Prom?
Never got it. No, it got canceled because of COVID.
For me, I wasn't gonna go to prom actually, and then my best friend from back home convinced me. Tristana Tater, she plays with the Gophers.
Yes. I
Um,
don't know her personally, but I do know who she is.
yeah, so she convinced me to go to prom. Literally, it was 2 days or 3 days before prom, and she goes, "You're coming to prom with me," and I was like, "I told you I'm not going to prom," and she goes, "Yes, you are." So I went to prom thinking okay, like this is going to be like every single high school dance I've been to, like not fun. You literally just go there for 10, 15 minutes and then you go hang out as a big group after. And then I went to prom. Nope, best dance ever, I think. I
Oh,
think it
really?
depends on who you're with. We had a small group, which I really liked, versus a big group. But I don't know. I think that was probably one of the best dances I've ever been to and one of the best moments in my life. And it was really fun to go to. So I'm really sorry that you didn't experience that. But if you can, I think you should.
Well, obviously, I can't experience now because I'm almost 20, so it'll be very old. No offense, I definitely am not never gonna have a prom experience. I always thought it was overrated. You're spending these girls, they spend like $600 on like dresses and all this stuff. And like for a high school dance, like $600, like it's a little too much. But if you want to spend that money, go for it, I guess. But I always thought it was overrated. I was never a big school dance guy. I only went to my senior homecoming, and that was just okay in my opinion. So never really was a big dance guy, but I know some people enjoy it, so I guess good for them. But that was never really my thing.
I get the whole dress thing though. Like there's some girls that spend so much money on dress they're only going to wear once. What Tristan and I did though is we went down the route of looking for a dress that we could use again in the future, but like it wouldn't look like a high school dress. It looked like something I could wear like at a ball or a gala or
Yeah.
something like that.
So, but yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not really upset that I never really got a prom. So, but I know some people were devastated. I'm like, I just want a graduation and that's it. So that's all that counts. And then I guess another holiday I want to add, by the way, for the underrated, overrated one is I think St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if you were in Boston for it, but I was walking around the city and these people are waiting 2 hours in line to get into a bar just to stand inside a bar. I don't understand why people would do that. So St. Patrick's Day might be a little overrated to me. I'm like, you people, like, why are you wasting your time just waiting to stand around in a spot with other people? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. My teammates that were old enough and allowed to like try to get into bars, but they were like standing in line for literally like an hour. Like, yep, nope. They came back. we all hung out as a team, but I didn't understand the hype around St. Patrick's Day either, but it's very popular around Boston. Like it
Mhm.
lasted for at least 3 days that I know about.
Yeah, it's insane. But no, I never understood. That's another thing I want to add. So, and then I guess last non-hockey question. I don't know if I asked this one, so please let me know if I did. But what is the most interesting thing you've seen or read this week?
You did ask this
All
one,
right,
but
so there's no more non-hockey questions. I want to answer them again.
I that was the one I said about Fleury going to
Oh,
the
that's
Wild.
right. That's right. That's right. So, sorry about that. So we'll move on to some of the after questions. But what's been your thoughts on the podcast since we last had you on? It's been almost a year, so I was just curious if you had any thoughts on the podcast and your interview, if you had the chance to listen to it.
I did listen to my interview. I think that my interview skills have grown since the last time I've gotten interviewed by you. I enjoy, and I know a lot of people enjoy being on the podcast, and for you to ask us to be on the podcast, so we appreciate it coming from me. I also think it's pretty cool for you to see who you're talking to and who you get to talk to, and just learning about everyone else's experiences and hearing from that, because you don't really get to hear that unless, like, I mean, at least when I went to national camp, getting to meet new girls from out east, that's kind of like the types of questions we ask, like, oh, like, how's your hockey experience, and just learning about people that way. But I think it's cool that now, like, we can just look online and you've like asked these questions, and just like hearing about their year and how they're doing within their
Mhm.
sports.
Yeah, no, that's definitely one of the goals is just to learn more about college hockey players for both the men's and women's side. So I'm very happy that you kind of feel the way that get to learn about these players more because that's literally the goal of it is to help promote players and for both men's and women's college hockey.
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job, and I think you should keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I feel like we did a lot of cool stuff this year. Obviously, it's the year's technically not over, but hopefully some more cool stuff next year. I definitely have to point it out, but the Omicron thing really screwed things up scheduling wise. So hopefully we won't have to deal with that next year and it can be even better.
Oh yeah, all good.
Now, is there any guests that we should have on in the future? I'm just curious if there's anyone you know from Minnesota, Edina, or BU, or just anyone that we should have on. I'm just curious about that.
From back home, Vivian Jungles, Barrett Limborg, Jane Keel. I know. Wait, Janie has done it.
Yep, she's
Um,
right now. We've scheduled an interview to have her come back on, so hopefully that works out.
oh, that's awesome. Or Lauren Zoyski. I know she recently committed to Mankato, so I'm very happy for her. Well deserved. From back home for college, maybe Tristana Tater or my roommate Kylie Shanahan. I think those would be two players to have on and hearing about their experiences.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely should reach out. I've had a lot of BU women's hockey players on, so we got to continue the trend going. I don't know if your team had the most players on compared to other teams in hockey, so I have to look that up. But I think you might be there. It's either you or the UConn men's hockey team. I'm not quite sure of who have from guests on the team that have had the most on.
That's awesome. Yeah, maybe you should just go through our whole team. Just DM everyone.
Maybe, yeah, maybe should do that. That'll be kind of interesting to get everyone on. But then when the next year's class, I have to continue to ask and ask. So that's the only problem. Is like if
Yeah,
that when that happens is, but I don't know how many freshmen are you getting next year.
I think five. I know one person who might be cool to talk about her experience is Maeve Kelly. She played for Hill Murray this last, no, Holy Family this last year. She's coming in and she's going to be one of our defensive men here. But yeah, I think she'd be a cool person to have on here too.
Awesome, awesome. We'll definitely gotta reach out. But and anyone from like I guess anyone else. I forgot to yeah. Anything else you want to talk to me about? I'm just curious. I know we normally do shout outs, but since you've shouted out some people last time, I was curious if there's just anything else you want to talk about. The floor is all yours, or if you just want to shout out other people, feel free to do that.
Just want to shout out to my parents for everything they've done for me and continuing to do for me. And one last thing I wanted to say is like not a question, but I just want to say thank you because I know that this experience and like getting to have interviews with you and getting to experience this has been a positive thing in my life. And just hearing like the feedback that you get from people really uh, is a positive thing that I get to hear, and it actually like I think it impacts a lot more people than you think it does. Getting to like talk about their experiences, and I just want to say thank you and keep up the good work. And it's exciting to see how your platform's growing.
Well, thank you so much, Kylie, for the kind words. It really does mean a lot to myself. I work very hard to help grow college hockey just because I'm a huge hockey guy. So I appreciate you and the rest of the players that have come on and taken times out of their schedule to talk about their experiences, because if that never happened, the platform would be nothing. So from my end, thank you so much for coming on. It really means a lot to myself.
Oh yeah, of course, and thank you again for having me.
Obviously, it was fun meeting you in person too. I don't know if you want to talk about that for a little bit. I know that game was disappointing, but it was fun meeting you after the game. That was like the one positive from it, at least from my perspective.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was great. Sorry, like I didn't talk to you in the beginning. When I first came out, I was just upset about my knee. But yeah, it was great to see you, talk to you about the game in person. It's always nice to see everyone in person, and I'm glad that you were doing well and continuing to do well.
Yeah, no, it's what I think you, Lacey, I'm trying to think who else. Only like a handful of people I've actually met in person. So I'm hoping to do those more because it's very fun to see you in person. It's definitely a bit weird not seeing you through a screen, but it was definitely fun to have that experience. So hopefully some more in-person meetings for next season, just because that's always fun to do that and just take the picture. Like I said, that's like my favorite thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. You should try to come to one of our games again next year. I
Yeah,
think that'd be
I'm definitely gonna do a home game next year. I gotta do a home game. I feel like that's probably a lot easier than a road game, but we'll definitely do a home game for sure. That should be a lot of fun.
yeah, sounds good. Just let us know, and me and Lacey and a couple of other girls will come up.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, thank you again, Kylie, for coming on. I really appreciate your time. It means a lot to myself. Like I said before, I admire you a lot as a player. I think you're a fantastic hockey player, but you're also an even better person as well. So I just want to let you know that. And it's been fun having you on these past two times and learning more about yourself. And hopefully, this isn't the last time we have you on. Hopefully, we can have you on a few more times for the next 3 years that you have with Boston University.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and thank you again for having me.